The judge in Blake Lively's case just rejected their psychopathic request, and the court said no. Breaking news, Justin Baldoni just secured a big win, meaning Blake Lively suffered a significant loss. Are her lawyers incompetent? Blake Lively is throwing a full-blown tantrum after the judge played the leaked audio in front of the entire courtroom, exactly what she deserves. She and Ryan Reynolds tried everything to bury this recording, even getting the podcast cancelled, but now fate is siding with Justin Baldoni. It is clear Blake's case is falling apart, destroying her credibility and Ryan Reynolds as well. March 4, 2025, turned the courtroom into a comedy special as Judge Louis Lyman annihilated Blake's legal team in real time. If she thought she could flex her Hollywood power, she left being legally body-slammed. Blake Lively, the bully, finally met resistance, and thankfully, Justin has the support to fight back. The best part? She had a meltdown in court, visibly embarrassing even her own lawyers, who must have realized this case is a joke. You wouldn't expect high-level executives to be bullied, coerced, or extorted, especially by celebrities like Ryan and Blake or Taylor Swift. Blake and her team walked in thinking they'd deliver the final blow to Baldoni's case, only for Judge Lyman to look at their absurd request and essentially ask, "Are you dumb?" Imagine being so embarrassing that a federal judge openly roasts you in court. He even hinted at how stupid her lawyers are. The humiliation doesn't stop there. This legal disaster is now public. The judge ruled that there will be a live audio feed of the next hearing on Thursday, meaning the world gets front-row seats to Blake's legal stupidity in action. The internet will hear firsthand as she realizes she played herself, with no PR spin, no curated TMZ leaks, just reality. She walked into court demanding the most ridiculous subpoenas in legal history and got shut down brutally. Blake Lively subpoenaed text messages, but you can only issue a subpoena in a valid legal case. Her demands were insane: 2.5 years of Baldoni's phone records, texts, location data, doctor visits, and more, as if she were auditioning to be a full-time stalker. The judge outright rejected her psychotic request for every message Justin Baldoni, Justin Heath, and their PR agents ever sent, plus location data. Imagine asking a judge for GPS tracking data on someone for 2 years. Blake, what is this, the FBI? The judge immediately shut it down, pointing out the absurdity of her request, with no legal justification. Even if Baldoni had run a smear campaign, which he didn't, it allegedly started in August 2024, so why was she demanding records from 2022? It makes zero sense. The judge made it clear that while standard court protective orders exist, Blake's team was asking for an attorney's eyes only designation, which was completely unreasonable. Ultimately, her case is crumbling under the weight of its own absurdity, and the judge made sure to put an end to the nonsense. Blake obviously couldn't do that. It's like suing someone for defamation in 2024 but demanding to see what they texted their Uber driver in 2022. The math wasn't mathing, and even the judge had enough, calling her subpoena overly intrusive and disproportionate, which is just a fancy way of saying, "Are you actually okay?" Blake wasn't seeking evidence. She was demanding a government surveillance program on Baldoni's entire existence. The judge saw right through it, and now so will the public, thanks to Thursday's live audio feed exposing how desperate and delusional Blake's case really is. And then came the best part, her meltdown in court. Witnesses said she physically tensed up, whispered furiously to her legal team, and visibly shook as her plan crashed and burned in real time. Honestly, good, this case was built on smoke and mirrors, and now those mirrors are shattering. This wasn't even a new strategy. Blake and Ryan Reynolds tried this before, but now they want to put the genie back in the bottle, except the genie likes to be free. The judge's ruling was so brutal, so humiliating, that Blake's legal team actually tried to spin it as a win in the media. How embarrassing do you have to be to get obliterated in court and still act like you won? It's like getting dunked on, face planting, and standing up like you meant to do that. No, you didn't, you lost spectacularly. It's mind-blowing how dumb Blake's team is, and how egotistical she must be to think she can convince people they didn't see what they saw. Then came the ultimate humiliation. when the judge cited Blake's own lawsuit against her, proving she contradicted herself so badly that he used her own words against her. That's next-level cell-phoning. And where was Ryan Reynolds in all this? Nowhere. The man who loves tweeting and making viral jokes turned into Casper the Friendly Ghost when things got real. Recent filings show Ryan was panicked, but I guess he was too busy pretending to be Deadpool to show up for his wife's legal disaster. He let Blake take the full embarrassment alone, and honestly, who could blame him? And isn't it hypocritical? She wants the courts to stop public discussion, yet she's fueling the drama. Instead of admitting defeat, Blake's team doubled down on stupidity, throwing out more subpoenas, hoping something sticks. She says she's glad they did, yet now she wants other footage suppressed. How does that make sense? Blake just learned the hard way that Hollywood power doesn't work in a courtroom. She thought she could intimidate her way to victory, but Judge Lyman treated her like a toddler throwing a tantrum in Walmart. And now, after today's courtroom humiliation, there's no way out. The world is watching, the legal system isn't buying her nonsense, and her reputation is crumbling in real time. And this is just the beginning. Are her lawyers incompetent? Why do they keep fumbling? Blake wasn't just desperate, she went full Hollywood supervillain, demanding access to every aspect of Baldoni's life: calls, texts, location data, work emails. She even wanted his doctor visits, like she was going to diagnose him herself. Who even asks for this? She thought she was running a top-secret FBI investigation, but in reality, she just made a fool of herself in front of a federal judge. And let's be real, this wasn't about justice, it was about Blake flailing around, hoping to find dirt on Baldoni. Blake was throwing subpoenas like confetti, demanding Wayfarer Studios' business records because she apparently needed to see what Baldoni was emailing his coworkers about 3 years ago. What's next? Demanding his Amazon order history. Rather than wait, Judge Lyman had none of it, immediately dismissing her overly broad and invasive request, which is legal speak for Blake. Sit down, you sound insane. She was trying to turn the courtroom into an episode of Homeland, but the judge hit her with a reality check, denying even her modified request. Her initial subpoena was so absurdly overreaching that it was never going to be granted, and instead of refining it earlier, she came in swinging for Baldoni's entire digital footprint and walked out with only 4 months of records from August to December 2024. The judge called out the inconsistency. If she claimed the supposed campaign against her started in August, why was she demanding records for 2.5 years? But it gets worse. Just when Blake thought she could control the narrative, a leaked recording from Ari Emanuel, CEO of WME, exposed the biggest Hollywood cover-up of the year. Turns out Blake and Ryan Reynolds weren't just innocent bystanders in Baldoni's blacklisting, they orchestrated it. Emanuel was caught on tape admitting he personally fired Baldoni at their demand, even referring to Baldoni mockingly as baloney. Imagine getting blacklisted by your own agent, only to find out he ridicules you behind your back. With this leak, Blake's entire victim narrative collapsed. This wasn't speculation anymore. It was proof that she and Ryan actively destroyed Baldoni's career, making it a textbook defamation case. The Freakonomics podcast, where Emanuel made this confession, mysteriously lost its recording. No audio, no YouTube video, as if the episode just vanished, but luckily, a journalist in the room secretly recorded it anyway. The cover-up ran so deep that an entire podcast episode didn't get recorded, and Blake knew it was bad because she immediately went into damage control mode. And when Blake Lively panics, she does what any Hollywood elitist would do: she calls in the CIA. Yes, Blake and Ryan just hired Nick Shapiro, a former CIA deputy chief of staff, to handle their PR crisis, a man with a track record of lying and gaslighting the public. At this point, it's not even just a legal battle, it's a full-blown Hollywood scandal.